I'm coming live now. Just talk a little bit about the energies right now as we are hitting 1st of March here in New Zealand. People that have followed my energy updates know that I work with different timelines and not necessarily the Gregorian timeline, looking at both the direction and the flow, the linear and the multidimensional from different perspectives. But our point of view right now is Earth, and from this point of view there's certain configurations that create magnetics and create energy, dynamics. It's all about dynamics. And of course, ideally we are so into our Zen, in our center, in our 0 point in our heart, that all of these dynamics move through and we watch them like we watch this beautiful sun, and we bask in them and we feel them and we let them move through us the way they are moving. That's the ideal. That is when we learn to stay in the flow, then we can observe and we can feel and we can let all of the dynamics that are happening at all levels, energetic, personal, collective, move through us and transform us, show us like a mirror what needs to be done, and so we can carry on with our highest perspective. And yesterday, well, of course we're all in this together. There's no stone unturned right now, and of course I don't have to tell you what's going on. Most of you know what's going on in different levels, but definitely February has been such a ride. It has been such a ride, and we have all been through the ringer, through the pool of waves and waves, whether they are mental, energetic, physical. Here in New Zealand and around me, there's been many energetic levels as well happening. Many people very tired, many people getting unwell, many people going through a lot of deep changes in their lives, loss. Around the world we've got floods and false flag events. I gotta say that because that's what it is. And things that are what they're not. I've talked about this in my prior update of the 22nd. Really watch out for what you're seeing. And discernment is very important. Discernment comes from your heart. And you know when something smells fishy. And that's okay. And so it's not about trying to prove that it is a lie, but it is about observing the lie or observing the misinformation and seeing where in your life does that fit. Why does it bother you? What gets triggered? What part of you is being lit up for you to see? Because nothing is outside of us. It's really an inner journey. Now, yes, it's getting tougher. And yet, yesterday I was watching the sunset. And I will post it on a comment somehow here or later on my Instagram and Facebook. There was this beautiful halo, just huge around the sun, and it had a feeling of a tethered, like moving energy surrounding it, like a nautilus, like a beautiful nautilus, which holds codes of sacred geometry. If you've seen that, the Fibonacci template as well. And so that was surrounding the sun, and it was incredible to see. And I really felt that deep calling. I tuned in with my guidance, and the guidance was, there's been a disconnection. When I'm talking about disconnection, is everybody so tired, right, of everything that has transpired, particularly in the last 2 years. That there's been like a heart disconnection, a moment of unplugging from everything. It's almost like I don't want to know anymore. I am just going to disconnect from everything. Now that has two sides, of course. The disconnection is an opportunity to get rid of what does not serve. It's like unplugging your computer and going, I'm going to do a reset now because I have so many tabs open and it's jammed and it's chaos and I can't find what I'm looking for, and it's making everything slow and heavy. So there was it's like when you do that, you unplug, you reset, you turn it off, and you have to wait till you turn it on again, right? This is what's happening the next 5 days. So the energy is here. It's quite new. It's really crystalline. It has a it has a sense of a call for trust, which is very hard to transpire at these times, because we've been through so much. That how can we trust? How can we trust what's happening? How can we trust? Who can we trust? Do I trust myself? Do I trust others? Everything is supposed to be what is not, and so it becomes quite muddy. And that's also the energies of Pluto. Pluto being the underworld, being in a sign of Capricorn. It's bringing a lot of deceit and lies to the surface, regardless of, because people are realizing and understanding and knowing the game. The game has been so vicious and so established for so long that at least people like me, which I'm well over my 40s now, and I've been long enough to know now, to understand the game. And so I choose to play it when I choose to play it. I choose to observe it when I choose to observe it. And just create a new one, actually. That's what we're doing. A new one. So, configurations that are happening at play. Well, we've got a new moon in Pisces coming in a few days. The 2nd of March in the rest of the world, 3rd of March. 2nd and 3rd of March is kind of what the give and take from this perspective, from the earth perspective. And new moon obviously always brings new ways, new intentions, seeding new soils, such a fertile soil. But Pisces also always invites us to dream big. And it's hard to dream big, really, at this time, because so much has been brought up to the surface to reveal that you have such a mess, and you're looking at the mess and you're going, okay, how am I going to create something new out of this, right? It's difficult to have a sense of creating something new when there's so much chaos. Yet it's very important that we keep the faith, the trust, and the dream alive. Because regardless of what's coming out to be watched and seen and looked at, we still need to have a vision. We can't forget the vision. Now, we've got different archetypes like Mars and Venus joining and in conjunction, unifying, I guess, but also challenging each other because they have very different energy. But entering in conjunction with Pluto. So it's a very powerful configuration there happening. Unfortunately, it starts in a very authoritarian, restrictive control node, I would say, or vortex of energy. That might take us even deeper to review our relationship, not only with ourselves but with others. And also to really see what's the deep hidden truth that we haven't been able to see. And that is going to come up in the next 5 days. Then everything kind of starts moving out into that tension point from the 5th, when Venus and Mars enter into Aquarius. And so it kind of reminds us where our ideals are as new humanity and new leadership. It's needed now, a new leadership where there is no a pyramid, no a system of hierarchies, levels of authority, but it is a communion common unity. Common unity. So that is what so far Mars is bringing in the first days. I rather take it slow because March is bringing a lot of new influx and new information, and I don't want to overload you guys. We have enough of overloading as well. There is so much information now, and disinformation and misinformation and hidden information constantly. So I also want to prompt you to disconnect more, and this is the big disconnection also, because we are in this process before we kind of plugged in again the program, the computer, the feeling, the energetics of our bodies, where we are, okay, I'm back in the game, back in the play, back in life. This disconnection point is going to take us a good week. So take advantage of that feeling. And for some of us, or some of you, this disconnection point, it's more like discernment point. It will take you to a moment where you might feel low, you might feel depressed, you might feel questioning, why am I doing what I'm doing? What's the point, right? But that if you follow that without getting too deep into the mind and trying to analyze it, if you actually just feel that point of disconnection, it actually will help you a lot with going deeper in what's really your purpose and what is really your call, and what is really why are you really here at a soul level. And so utilizing the disconnection point as well to unplug from the millions and thousands of energetic distractions of information constantly, where we're seeking to know everything. And remember, we have no control. We let go of control, truly, and we enter into the flow and vulnerability of just being. We enter into the void, into the silence, and yes, it might feel at the time very unnerving, but once you go through the other side, it is a new world, really, because you learn to be more in touch and in connection with who you are. And then from there, the magic happens, because it's like going in through the back door. It's like going in behind the program. And then you can see it for what it is. And then you play with it. And then you create it. And then you manifest it. And then it is yours. So you're no longer the game being played. You're no longer the piece on the board. You are actually the game, the gamer, the board, and everything. And so ultimately that's where we're heading. Ultimately that's our true power. And March, the energy of March is such a marching energy, such a strong push forward energy as well. Yet it's mostly in the elements of Pisces, the water, the emotion, the ocean, the rivers, the blood, everything that it's hidden underneath, in the caves, underground. All of that is going to be at play as well, coming out. Some people say disclosure, unearthing, unravelling, all of those words, all of that is at play here as well. But first, that pause, that disconnection. And do not try to over-analyze or add or attach the meaning to the word disconnection. Maybe we can see it as a unplugging, zooming out, observing, turning off what does not serve you, clear up your system, recharge, embody, be in your body, earthing on the ground, just really feeling that ground, really connecting to Solaris above, because we're really between heaven and earth, aren't we? And we are these incredible channels, embodied channels of this energy. And it's very real, and it's very tough, but it's very beautiful as well. All right, so I leave you with that, and feel yourself in these 5 days. Make an intention if you are that kind of person that needs to and feels connected to making an intention. Maybe rekindle or refine your vision, not only for you but for humanity and beyond cosmic beings we are as well, because we're not just an earth floating in nothingness, right? There is way more, and we know that as well, and we feel it, and also that is also coming up as well for us to understand that. So take advantage of these energies at the moment. Do not resist them. If something needs to be cleared off your life, buried in the earth, unearth it, washed away. Yes, it's hard, but try the best you can to just observe it and learn from it. And if you need to feel it, well, feel it. But always from a perspective of higher point of perspective. Yeah, so that you are in your 0 point, which also lies in your heart. So being in your heart and understanding the dynamics which are at play. All right, trust is a big word. Trust. Can you trust? Discernment. Can you discern the truth from the non-truths? And that's huge. And can you disconnect or disengage from the sea of things and muckiness that does not serve you either? And that doesn't mean you don't care. It means you need to rewire, review, and then plug in again, or engage again, or reconnect yourself. It's just that we're going through in between the breaths, the next 5 to 7 days. All right? So see you on the other side. Mucha aroha. Satnam.